Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So it's the 11th, so that means it is Embellishments on the 11th. This is a collaboration hosted by the lovely Deb Houck over at Deb Houck's Crafty Cottage. The idea is that we make some handmade embellishments each month using what we've got in our stash. So I've been focusing on trying to use up a lot of my scrap papers because I tend to store them. I don't like throwing anything away. So that's what I've been trying to work through. I haven't got as much to show you this month. For those of you that watch my channel will already know, I had a bit of a tumble last weekend and hurt my ankle, so I haven't been able to get around the craft room as well as I normally can, so I've been a bit slower, so I didn't get as much done as I would like, but I've created a few things to have a look at. So I will show those. Also, don't forget to hop along and see what all the other ladies have been creating. They always create a wonderful amount of inspiration, and they always give me projects to add to my to-do list. So the links to all of their channels will be found in the description box below this video. So let's have a look at what I've been creating this month. So I decided to go with a cake theme. I was going to do tea and cake, but like I say, I ran out of time, so I was not able to. So first of all, I made these 4 little like wedding style cakes on cake stands. It's a couple of different die sets. This is actually a 2-tier cake stand like that one. And I just chopped that top bit off and stood the wedding cake on that. So you can see that I have made the cake up in some white linen cardstock, cut out the ribbons and the swags in pink Centura pearl, baby pink Centura pearl. I've made some tiny little flowers just from some punches that I've got, and a leaf die. And then, like I say, I made the little cake stand out of some silver linen cardstock, and just cut the top bit off of there and laid that up. And I've done 2 in pink and 2 in sort of an aquary sort of colour, which are really pretty. So I've done those ones. And then I have done these little, it's like a little slice of cake on a doily with a spoon and a dessert spoon and fork. So again, I think there's a combination of die sets here. I think these came from, I can't remember the name of the set. It came from the range. And I think the spoon and fork was in the same set, and then the little doilies are just ones from AliExpress. So I've cut it all out of cream cardstock, and then I've cut the cake, the brown layer, out of a brown, it's sort of a patterned cardstock, but it's just got a sort of quite a, I don't know, not an even texture to it, and I thought it looked quite good as sponge. So I cut it again out of that, and then I've just distressed the edges with a little bit of vintage photo on that, and then on the cream and jam layer I've used the cream cardstock, but I've just distressed around the very edges with some candied apple to make it look like jam, and then I've done the same to the swirl on the top there, and then I've coloured the little cherry in red and just popped some glossy accents on that to make it nice and shiny, and coloured the little stalk, the stem in green. It is a couple of layers, and I have popped it up on some foam dots to give it a little bit of dimension. The spoon and the fork, I've cut it out of the silver cardstock. It's the same silver cardstock I used for the cake stands, and then I've layered it on some cream cardstock, and then I have taken my ball stylus, my flower shaping tool, and I've just given a little bit of shape to the handles and to the heads of the utensils, just to give it a little bit of shape, so that it's not quite so flat. And I've just layered all of that on a white doily cut out of the white linen textured cardstock. So that was those ones. And then the final ones that I managed to make for this month, they're quite a bit larger, these ones. And I've made these, move these out of the way a little bit so you can see them. And you could use these on the front of a card, or you could still use them on bag toppers, or you could put them on a rosette, on presents, that sort of thing. But this one is the cake stand, silver cake stand, with all the really lovely looking little cakes. If I get my camera to focus, there you go. So I cut the stand, I cut everything out of cream, and then I cut the stand again in silver, so that that's just raised slightly, so that it does look like the cakes and things are stood on top of the layers of the cake stand. I've layered it all on top of a doily that I've cut out of Snow White with a hint of gold Centura Pearl cardstock. And I've just inked around the edges with a little bit of antique linen, just to give that a bit of dimension too. And then all the little cakes, I have hand painted using distress inks and distress oxides. And I've just sort of painted them up in pretty little colours. I've cut out, so the little Love Heart shapes, I've made them look like little gingerbread cookies with a little bit of sugar on the top with the glitter. That bun, I've coloured it up to look a bit like a sort of farmhouse type bun with all the currants, and then I've put the diamond dust on the top to look like sugar. Granulated sugar on the top of that one, and then this little star was actually from a punch that I'd got, and I did it in dark brown to make it look like chocolate, and I thought it looked like a little mint chocolate star on top of that cupcake. And then on the little cherry, again, I've put a little bit of glossy accents to make that shine, and I just painted a little tiny bit of glossy accents on the jam in this pie slice, or the fruit filling in this pie slice, just to make it look a little bit shiny. And then the little cream dollop on the top of that, I cut it out of cream cardstock, and then again I've just inked around the edges of that with some antique linen distress ink, just to make it lift off the page a little bit. And so I did 4 of those. So my intention is to get these all packaged up. If you saw my last video, you'll see that I spent a couple of days where I couldn't really get around much, so I had my husband bring me a load of stuff to my desk, and I just sat and packaged up all the embellishments that I've made over the previous few months, ready to be able to send them out in Happy Mail. So I had coloured up some, if I just move these, I had coloured up some additional little cupcakes and things for another embellishment that I was going to make, and I just sort of didn't get round to doing it. But I thought, well, that's okay, because I will either save it and just do the second half of what I was going to do for next month's embellishments on the 11th, or I can use them on the bag toppers for the embellishments I've made this month. And again, these are just, some of them are the ones that I made for these embellishments, and then these were from a different die set. They actually came from the same die set as this cake and spoon. And I'd coloured them up, like I say, because I was going to do another embellishment, but I didn't get time. So yeah, I will use them in one way or another. So that's my embellishments on the 11th for the month of June. I hope you've enjoyed a look at what I have created. If there is anything that you'd like to see a tutorial on or anything like that, please do leave me a comment in the description box. No, in the comments box below this video, and I'll see what I can do. Thank you so much to everybody for all the lovely comments you left on my last embellishments on the 11th video, but also on the video that I uploaded yesterday showing the packaging of all my embellishments. It was really lovely, and it cheered me up, and I've needed a bit of cheering up this week because I've been feeling sorry for myself. So yeah, that was really nice. And for my bestie, because she does watch all my videos, get well soon. She's also taken a tumble, but she unfortunately has actually broken her wrist, so she's out of action, and she's going to be out of action from crafting for a bit as well. So I can't go around and see her obviously at the moment because of the COVID rules, but also because I'm on crutches and she can't drive because she's got a broken wrist. So we can't have a socially distanced hello at the moment either. So yeah, get well soon, Christine. I am thinking of you, and as soon as I'm able to drive again, I will come down and we can sit in the garden and have a socially distanced coffee. But until the next time, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all again very soon in the next crafty video. Bye for now.